3 weeks ago, I decided to try and answer the question so many of you have been asking me: what should I buy, the RX480 or the GTX 1060? Having looked online locally and at US retailers, I was faced with the grim realization that availability was extremely poor for both products. Despite being out in the wild for an entire month, the RX480 was virtually nowhere to be seen, and almost by default the GTX 1060 was crowned the victor. The best price I could find at the time was 440 Aussie dollars for the reference version RX480 8GB model. Meanwhile, for the same price, I found some nice aftermarket GTX 1060 examples from Asus and Galax, so the choice was pretty obvious. Despite this hard evidence, many red-blooded AMD fans took to the dislike button in protest. Some even claimed it was stupid to compare these cards at the time and suggested waiting a few weeks. Of course, the idea of that video was to answer the question, what should I buy right now? Anyway, we find ourselves 3 weeks down the track, so what's changed? Sadly, not a whole lot. In fact, if anything, things have become even more grim for those hopeful RX480 and GTX 1060 owners. It won't be long and the RX480 will have been available, and I do use that term loosely, for 2 months. Meanwhile, the GTX 1060 has been strutting its mid-range stuff for exactly 1 month now. Today, availability for both products sucks though, and as I found 3 weeks ago, availability for the RX480 sucks just that little bit more. Down under, the cheapest RX480 I could find in stock was from Net Plus for $400, and of course it's a nasty reference card. Meanwhile, UMart has a rather unappealing blower-style GTX 1060 model from Asus in stock for $415. Neither option is particularly attractive, but if I was forced to pick one right now, I'd again go with the GTX 1060. If I wasn't forced to pick right now, I'd certainly try and wait it out or look for a previous generation AMD or Nvidia graphics card on the cheap. The situation stateside is just as bleak. The RX480 is again only available in reference form, and major online retailers such as Newegg list just a single card in stock for a crazy $330 US. The good news here being that the impressive Gigabyte GTX 1060 Windforce model, which I reviewed here, can be had for just $250. There's also a decent looking Asus version for $290, though the much cheaper Gigabyte model is the obvious choice. The Asus model can be purchased by Australians from Newegg, though the bill comes to $480, so that's not really a feasible option. Meanwhile, not a single RX480 can be purchased off Newegg for those down under. Availability for these new current generation and mid-range graphics cards really is disappointing. I never expected yields to be great after such a long period on the 28nm process, but this is more ridiculous than I could have ever imagined. Oddly, there are a number of RX470 graphics cards to choose from, and Asus has the great looking Strix model that I tested here for just $190. That said, most RX470 partner card models are out of stock in the US and Australia, so I don't expect those Asus cards selling near the MSRP to last long. So other than wait it out, what should you do? I personally would forget about the RX480 and GTX 1060 and opt for the Radeon R9 390X instead. The 390X is arguably a superior product, and right now it can be purchased for as little as $400 from a number of retailers. For US-based shoppers, Newegg is flogging the 390X off for as little as $340 for a nice looking XFX model. So in short, the answer to what should I buy right now, the RX480 or GTX 1060, is the Radeon R9 390X. Strange, huh? Thanks for tuning in again. I'm your host Matt as always, and I'll see you guys next time. YouTubers like me depend on your support to continue improving the quality and content of our videos. To support the channel directly, consider becoming a patron to also get access to a heap of cool rewards and exclusive giveaways. Also, don't forget you can check prices and buy the products I looked at in this video through the Amazon links in the video description below. Thank you kindly for supporting me and the Hardware Unboxed channel. It means a lot to me and I really do appreciate it, and in return I'll continue to work as hard as I can to keep producing the content you enjoy.